So the vote has passed in the House to keep the government open. It was 230 to 197, with 5 Democrats voting in favor. So we'll see if that's reflected on the Senate side. The Senate side is a bit more of an uphill battle. You've got Rand Paul and Lindsey Graham, who are registering now that they will be no's. So perhaps the tougher part of this equation is about to get underway. But it has passed the House. So we'll keep you posted on that development as we get more. In the meantime, so athletes, generally considered to be role models, at least they were when we were growing up, but now it's become very political in many ways, taking sides with groups like Black Lives Matter, refusing to stand for the national anthem, and turning down invitations to the White House to shake hands with the President of the United States. We've seen all of that over the past year. So what kind of message are kids taking from that? This is fascinating. New online survey asked kids what they wanted to be when they grow up. Pro athlete used to be number 1. Now it is number 8. Police officer used to be number 10, and it has moved all the way up to number 3. And the biggest influence on our kids when they make these career predictions, not your parents, the media. Amy Holmes of Rasmussen and Professor Wendy Osefo join me now. Good to have both of you with us today. I think it's out of the mouths of babes in some ways, right? So they've watched everything that's unfolding in the world, and they have made an interesting choice, Wendy. More and more of them want to be police officers. Does that mean that the Blue Lives Matter statement in all of that has been more powerful than the Black Lives Matter statement, perhaps?
Well, as the daughter of individual, my grandfather, who was in the police force for 36 years, and my brother, who serves now as an NYPD police officer, I have the uttermost respect for police officers. But I reject the premise to say that there's some type of empirical data or some type of correlation between this and Colin Kaepernick or Black Lives Matter. Just this year alone, Colin Kaepernick had the 17th most popular jersey in the NFL, and only 3% of those individuals who said they do not watch the NFL attributed that to the protest when it comes to the national anthem. So for me, I think that there may be some evidence to say what the media is doing may impact our children, but the long haul is this. Civil rights movements in our country has never been popular. At the time that Martin Luther King was alive, 67% of Americans did not like him. And those are the same people who were putting up quotes a few days ago for his holiday. So even though this may be the fact, I do not see a correlation here.
I mean, it's interesting when you look at the characters that are really gaining a lot of traction, Amy. Who do we have? We have
Doc
Paw Patrol and Doc McStuffins, which we discovered today because my kids are too old for this. And but they're adorable, and this may be part of what's influencing these kids, Amy.
Yeah, Martha, I have to say I was very disappointed to not see cable news pundit on that list.
We were all expecting to be at the top of the list, let me tell you.
Of things that kids are dreaming of. The good news is the kids seem to be still having kid dreams of what they want to be, and they're getting most of their influence from kid media like Doc McStuffin, and 80% of little girls, because of that character, in large part, want to be doctors and fix up their little toys and their stuffed animals, and they see this with Disney, and it really inspires them. I would say that the good news in all of this is that despite how much politics does creep into children's entertainment, that you don't see kids saying, I want to be a social justice warrior when I grow up, I want to be a feminist marcher when I grow up. They still want to be a doctor, an astronaut, and yes, an athlete. And part of the reason, Martha, why athlete fell off the list was because it fell off the list for girls. Boys, it still ranks number 3 for boys, and maybe some of the reason for that is girls haven't seen female athletes a lot in the news.
Yeah, they said maybe the distance from the Olympics is one of the reasons that athletes might have slid a little bit. We'll see if they come back. But athletes have not really held up to the role model. Some of them have, but many of them have not held up to that role model status, and that might be some part of this. Wendy, last word.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, just shout out to my 4-year-old Carter, who wants to be a police officer when he grows up. And there is this translation of what they see on TV, and it translates into say, I want to be a police officer because they're cool. He goes up to police officers in the grocery store and gives them a hug. So I think there's a warmth that comes with that as well. So as a mother of 2, I am completely okay with these children saying they want to be doctors and they want to be police officers.
And could I add one more thing? In the same survey, they found one little girl wants to be a librarian, ballerina.
Well, that's a perfect combination. I want to be one of those too. Thank you both. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So.